Okay, so I'm going to do another full day of eating video. It's been a while because literally nothing has really changed since my first one. That was a rest day. That's the only food change that I've had, and all it was is the sourdough and egg meal is now just an egg white omelette with 2 eggs. So small reduction there, but my training day food has not changed, but I have not actually made a video on it. So get started with that. Meal one for me is always going to be cream of rice on a weekday because I usually am training before work. So usually wake up around 4 a.m, eat this around 4:30, train at 5:20-ish is when I get to the gym. Well, I get there a bit earlier, but I warm up. So this meal is just 90 grams of rice flour, 25 grams of protein powder. I add stevia to it to make it a bit sweeter. 150 grams of blueberries and 100 grams of banana. That is the meal, and it is delicious. Add some stevia to this, about 15 grams. I honestly don't know if I eat too much stevia because I put it in a fair bit in this and a fair bit in my last meal, which is a Ninja Creamy. So I don't know if it's good or bad for you. I mean, I've had it in and it's consistent and I'm still dropping, so I'm not going to take it out, but I do wonder if I am a bit excessive on that. I've heard it actually makes you crave sweet things more and makes you a little dehydrated, so not sure about the nuances of it. So I whisk this up. The best tip I have for my cream of rice is not buying the Mackenzie's one. I actually try and find, I don't have any on me right now because I've run out, so I've got this big bulk bag from a gluten-free wholesaler, but I was buying these little satchels of rice flour from, I think it's called Erewhon. It's like an Asian rice flour that you can find at Asian groceries. It's a white clear bag with red writing on it. Oh, bro, it's so good. It's like super fine, and you can see this consistency here is super fine as well. Like, it's not clumpy, it's not grainy, it's just smooth. So if you can get your hands on some of that, definitely do that because it is amazing. So 100 grams of blueberries. That's too many. Oh no, 150, sorry. Sweet. 150. That through. A lot of people like their cream of rice cold, some people like it warm. I genuinely could not tell you which I prefer. I love to eat it cold, and I like to have it when it's hot as well, so I am very, very torn on this. It's definitely like a big argument between some people, but I genuinely don't know what I prefer. Like, if I make it the night before and eat it the next morning, I probably enjoy it just as much as if I make it hot like this. The blueberries do cool it down a fair bit, so. I used to do 1 whole banana, that was what was in my plan, but as soon as prep started, Jaden just dropped it down to 100 grams. That way it's a bit more consistent. So depending on which bananas I buy, I can usually put this back in a Ziploc bag and then use it again the next day. So it works out good. But if you get one that's a bit smaller or closer to 100, I just throw the end out, if I'm going to be honest. So can't be bothered packaging it up. So it's 96. 99. That'll do. I'll just go to this corner. 100. And that's pretty much it. I just spread this out and I add cinnamon on the top of this just for a bit of extra flavour. So just a little bit. Bang. There it is. So that's my cream of rice bowl. It's only 90 grams of actual rice flour, but I use a 6-to-1 ratio, sorry. So I actually put like 500-ish mils of water in this altogether. So from 90 to, this probably weighs like 600 grams, 700 grams. And I love that because it fills me up a bit better. Some people hate volume eating, so they just make it with like a 2-to-1 ratio or whatever. It's kind of up to you, but I think this is perfect. It digests fine, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorite meals of the day. You're gonna hear me say that about every single meal because I just love to eat, and honestly, I love all of my bodybuilding food. Like, it just tastes great. So yeah, I'm gonna crack into this and I'll see you at the next one. All right, back for post-workout meal. So just finished training legs. That was quite brutal. good session, but I actually regressed a bit on my pendulum squats and leg press, which pissed me off, if I'm going to be honest. It was like, but like acute failure. Like my quads were just so pumped and like unable to go further. So I did weigh in a bit lower today for the first time in a while. Yeah, it just happens, I guess. So pending next week, if I have a similar thing next week, we might be doing a deload. Maybe I'm just pushing myself too high, but definitely a mental struggle there, because last week I progressed form and progressed weight, and I was like, sweet, can't believe this, we're smashing it. So it's always just a bit of a mental game, but it's all better now that I get to eat. So let me grab. So yeah, this one's just pretty simple: chicken, rice, dates, and pineapple. So I got my rice already done. Put this on before the gym. I like to let it kind of dry out a bit. Like once it's cooked, I like to let it sit there for 30 minutes or more. I don't know, I just like the texture more that way. So yeah. But if I am refrigerating it to make fried rice, I do grab it out pretty quick so that there's more moisture in it, because it just fries up better. So, and when I say fried rice, I just heat it up in a pan. I'm not adding soy sauce and salt and a bunch of other stuff. It's just, I just fry the rice in the pan with the meat. And it's usually for something like a mince bowl, which I'll do on my rest day. So get all that out. Lost a bit there. I've cooked my day's chicken because I'm not working today, so got it all here. It's just 430 grams for the day, so I usually do 200 in this and then 230 in the other meal. I'm just going to eyeball it. I've already weighed it out. It's the day's day, so it's the total calories for the whole day that matters. So yeah, I'll just divide it probably in half. I just have Moroccan seasoning on it because it's just so good. Only about 5 or 6 grams though. I try not to go too high. In an off season, I coat it, like it tastes so good, but there is actually a fair bit of sodium in the Moroccan seasoning and a bit in the rice because I salted the rice, so you don't want to overdo it. Not because it's bad, but just being inconsistent leads to a lot of fluctuations, especially as you get leaner. So I notice if I'm doing a rest day, I will sometimes oversalt all of my foods, and the next day I'm a little bit heavier or waterier just because I've been kind of going ham, whereas when I prep all this for work, like the salting happens here, I don't salt it at work, I add the same sauces, so it's a bit more consistent, whereas when you have a day off you kind of go, I'll just make each meal individually and a little bit extra, so just to make it taste better. Yeah, that's it. I actually cook my dates in with the rice. I just find it gives a delicious little flavor. So, and then to top it off, 150 grams of pineapple. I genuinely do prefer fresh pineapple, but I'm just so lazy at the moment with going to the fruit shop for it and cutting it up that I have been just using tinned, and I'm just going to continue to use tinned all prep to keep it consistent. But I think definitely in an off-season context, it is better because I believe, and there is things I've read that back it up, that the bromelain content is like almost non-existent in a tinned pineapple because of the process versus a fresh pineapple. And bromelain is kind of the whole reason you're eating the pineapple, not just for carbs, but for that digestive enzyme result as well. So dates, pineapple, chicken, rice, this to digest fantastically. I'm not going to add any salt, just mix it in. Might just put some sugar-free barbecue sauce on it. But that's the meal. Absolutely delicious post-workout treat. Yeah, a bit grim. All right, time for my third meal. Pretty simple. Pretty simple meal. I just got about 8,000 of my steps in walking to the shops to get some more tomato sauce. Yeah, it's really hard to get steps in when you're not working. So got some more sauce. This one's almost out. Low sugar, low salt, ketchup, mustard. That's the only sauces I'm really using. All we have here is 180 grams of mince, beef mince, and 300 grams of Spud Light, 100 grams of veg. no salt on the potatoes, just salt on the mince. And I don't measure my sauces currently. I might start doing that the first food drop I get, just because I don't like to make a random change when everything's working, right? So I am still dropping weight, like almost a kilo-ish, 800 grams to a kilo a week. So I don't need to change anything, everything's working. What I've just been doing is eyeballing this. So I just do the same squirt in this exact bowl every day, just across like that, and then the other way with the mustard. So that's what I've been doing, haven't been weighing it. No, it's not the most consistent, but it's fairly consistent in my opinion. Just looks like that. That's it. I will start weighing them properly the day that I need to track sodium, because obviously, yes, it's reduced salt, but it still has sodium, right? It's got 60 milligrams in 15 mil. So let's say that was 30. Now we're at 120 milligrams of sodium in this alone. This has like 56, so let's say I do the same thing. Could be looking at about 300 milligrams extra sodium. So that's probably when I'll start doing it, just adding it into my total daily intake, just using Chronometer, to be honest. So Chronometer is, I don't know if MyFitnessPal does, maybe you have to pay for premium, but Chronometer definitely has sodium, potassium tracking built in on the free one. So basically you just put all your food in for the day, sauces and actual salt measured with a scale, and that should help you hit your total targets. But yeah, we're not at that point yet. Again, food has barely changed this whole time, so really can't complain there. But hook into this one, and then I've got basically 3 left for the day, and it's 1 o'clock, which is awesome for me, because that means I get to eat another one probably a bit sooner than I usually would, because my work schedule, I'll eat 1 before gym, 1 after gym, 1 at first break, 1 at second break, and then from second break, which is 12:30, probably don't eat again until about 5, which is when I get home, and then I start cooking. So 5:30 is when I have my next one. So today it's going to be a bit of a treat. I might have another one maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock, and my meal after that will be at my in-laws to be house. So I will show you what it is, but I'm not going to film there. But yeah, that's this. So I'm going to crack into that. But yeah, before I actually hook into this one, I thought I'd actually take the time to have another little rant. Honestly, prep's been moving fantastically for me. This is my first time doing it, as people that are watching know. We're in week 12 now, so at the end of week 12, so getting closer and closer to halfway, so 20 weeks total. I have been messing up the dates in my posts, because I didn't realize that in my sheets the final week is week 0, so I'm like, yeah, I'm 11 weeks, 12 weeks. But yeah, it's been fantastic. I started prep at about 108 kilos. That was post-cheat meal, so let's say 104, 105, and today I weighed in at 96.5 kilos. So getting pretty close to 10 kgs down, and I am not too disappointed with the size that I still have. And what I mean by that is, no, I'm not thinking I'm massive, but I think I'm pretty happy with the silhouette that I still have. I feel like a lot of people, as soon as they start cutting, they feel really skinny and small. I do definitely feel smaller, but I feel like the quality is better, and it doesn't take away from, the size drop doesn't take away from how I like to look. So I'm really grateful. There is still, 11 weeks to go though. Yeah. So I just, you never know what's going to happen. Basically, prep lean is, you want to sort of be able to do this with all your skin kind of everywhere in your body. Like, it's not guaranteed you're going to get that, but this is kind of the feeling you want when you pinch your hand. You want to feel that. So I've got it on my tummy. It's getting closer there. It'll just be glutes, hamstring, back, sort of lagging behind, and maybe a bit on the quads. So that's kind of a good way to gauge it. So yeah, you never know how much muscle and size you're actually going to lose once you reach that condition point, right? So I'm not, crossing my fingers saying, yep, I'm looking great, I'm going to look really full on stage. Like, I'm going to be small. It's obvious. So, but my expectations were already that way, right? Because if you never actually just do a prep, you'll never know what you were going to look like, and you're never going to experience the massive gains out the back end of that, because getting so lean is much easier to maintain a leaner composition when you're bulking again, right? And I had someone break it down to me like this a while ago. Let's say you get shredded for stage. Yes, you're small, but you are about
let's just say 3% body fat at this point. Most people only put on, if it's a structured off season, maybe 10% body fat. So that means from your dieted state at 3%, you might reach 14% body fat, maybe 13. That's pretty lean. Like, that's leaner than most people walking around who don't even diet or do anything, or even people who are into gym but don't diet. Like, that's very lean. And that's kind of the compounding effect of doing like mini cuts and bulks and a prep when you can fit it in and afford it, is that you're just sort of resetting your base level every single time, and just you're raising the ceiling for how much heavier and how much more food you can eat each time as you grow. So I'm excited for that, and I always knew it's going to have to happen. You're never going to step on stage. Like, do you like bodybuilding or not? So we'll find out. I might even hate the stage and never do it again. Who knows? But I am just super excited for the journey. I am excited for it to be over, not because it's been particularly hard, just because I miss a little bit of freedom. Like, I don't know, going out just for a date, right? With my fiance. I miss that. I miss, someone's like, oh, just try a little piece of this. It's like not exactly hard, but it's just like, oh, it would have been nice to, try the thing that they said. Or honestly, my biggest battle is my fiance doesn't always finish her dinner at home, and it's just food I've cooked her. But usually I would go over to the bin, eat that, and then I can't do that anymore, right? So that's sort of the only things I miss, is just a little bit more social freedom, and honestly, just a day that I'm wrecked, not doing the steps, not doing the cardio. Whereas in prep, I do it. I don't miss, and that's kind of the difference mentally where I'm at. So yeah, it's awesome. And then finally, before I eat, and you guys can stop listening to me yap, just the glorification of prep. I did touch on this in my first video a while ago. I think that a lot of people get stuck on what makes prep hard, and this is my second part to it. It's not even necessarily what you're eating that makes it hard. Whenever someone asks you, how's the diet going, they ask you how much food you're on, how, blah, blah, and like, oh, that's shit, that's low. In essence, yes, low food is obviously going to be less desirable than high food than someone who's not dieting, right? But the feeling of being fatigued, tired, brain fog, all these low energy things that are associated with dieting, in a prep, it's more so the body fat percentage you hold that's driving that than the actual food amount. And what I mean by this is it's all relative. You can be eating 5,000 calories a day and be 3% body fat, and you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel hungry. You're going to feel tired. Like, it's not the food volume that you're eating. And this was a really nice thing for me to understand, as one of my friends told me it. It's all relative. Like, I've seen people in the past and have gone, oh, why are they complaining about prep? They're eating 4,000 calories. Or you hear an Olympian, who's just, their body's just a heat exchange machine. And they're like, yeah, I did 0 steps and 6,000 calories. The lowest my carbs went was 500 in a prep. And I'm like, why do they complain? Why is it hard? They're getting lean. And there comes a point where the exchange between how much food you're eating and body fat percentage, the body fat will eclipse the food amount. Right? So at first it sucks because you're hungry, you got all this, but you still have body fat, right? So the energy loss is probably just food related. But there comes a point when your body fat percentage is going to make you feel worse than the amount of food you're eating. And that's why a lot of people can miss as well when they're not ready in time for a show, when they're dieting to the week of, because there's not really a good way to fill up that person. Whereas if you're ready 4 weeks early, you have time for your body to sort of switch gears again and you feel better. So that's just sort of something cool that I learned, and is a part of that glorification of prep that I think people try and avoid, where it's like, it's going to be hard, it's going to be this. It will, but it's not hard because of the food or the steps or the cardio. It's hard because you don't have energy, because you're getting more peeled than is actually healthy for your body. So I just thought I'd share a bit of that, just a little thought that I've had. And yeah, I'm going to smash this meal and I'll see you at the next one. All right, time for my next meal. This one is just the remainder of the chicken that I cooked earlier, with another 300 grams of Spud Light and 100 grams of veggies. So that's pretty much it. Same mustard and tomato sauce combo. I'll smash this one down. But yeah, this is one of my other favorites. I don't know, Moroccan seasoning just slaps with any sauce, any combo. So yeah, we'll get this one down. And then my next meal is basically the same as the one before this, just a little bit more mince and 2 eggs, which I may or may not film. We'll see if I remember. But yeah. And the next meal, basically the same as the one before the last one. So 220
mince, 300 Bud Light, and 100 grams of veg. I'm not eating this right now. I'm actually taking it with me, and I'll have it for dinner when I'm out. Yeah, that's it. All right, and this is my final meal for the evening. It's super simple to make. Just 200 grams of Chobani or YoPro or the Coles Form yogurt, 100 grams of berries, and 15 grams of whey protein powder, and it just turns into this lovely, lovely meal. That's the consistency I like it at. I try not to use the YoPro too much because I don't know, it's got the same macros, but I just feel a bit guilty because it tastes so much better. So only when they're out of stock. But yeah, that's a wrap for the day. Everything I'm eating on a training day. I'll put all the calories and macros on the next screen.